Good afternoon, traders. This is Tony D from easyMarkets in the Sydney dealing room. We have a risk-off start to the week so far in the Asian session, with selling on the back of Wall Street Journal headlines that China is looking to impose limits on Chinese investment in US tech. Basically to stop the theft of IP and to limit the exposure there of some of those companies being used to outsource the Chinese 2025 agenda, which is a big, they want to be able to build and make a lot of the advanced technologies at home. Seen as a threat from by Trump, and mainly along the lines of he's a bit worried about US IP being filtered across there. The effect though is quite negative though, because it is quite strong words and could lead to retaliations from China or cease of investment from China. Hard to say exactly how much it's going to affect on NASDAQ, but combined with Trump's US or European auto tariff threat on Friday night, has left the market in a decisively risk-off mood. You can see here that US stocks have opened up under pressure. Let's look German. US stocks have opened up under pressure again today, threatening to break below Friday's low already. We'll see exactly how this opens up there. If you're looking at NASDAQ, so far NASDAQ hasn't responded too aggressively, although there is some topping action there, and there's a lot of room to move to the downside if this was to tip it over. Combine that with Bitcoin under a lot of pressure, and perhaps you do have a story there that could hurt the especially the chip sector if GPU production gets undermined here by falling crypto prices. You could see a two-way story there that makes it a little harder for this very large rally to continue. But in terms of FX space, the euro dollar was hit on the news from the tariffs there on German autos, but did recover, and fresh highs were seen there on the day before the selling that we're seeing here in the Asian session, mainly on that risk-off flow. And also a little bit of concern about German politics, which again coming to the front ahead of the EU summit later this week, where Merkel's under a little bit of pressure now, losing allies, and may be in an unsustainable position going forward if she was to lose those allies and lose her coalition. Now, that is undermining the euro, but the pound as well is under pressure just because of the general US dollar strength from the safe haven bid and pound yen selling, which has come back into the fall. So we have to see if the Europeans want to play the same way as the Asians on that news from the weekend. But right now you do have a fair bit of negativity here, and that is also obviously filtering across onto the Aussie dollar and the Aussie crosses that you can see here. The Aussie dollar is under pressure towards that 74.20 level. But so far hasn't done anything aggressive, and just a normal pullback in terms of levels, still above the 74.10, which was the previous breakdown point. Alright, so look, this week is going to be a very light data week, but still there's going to be some interest as to developments in a few of the key pieces of data coming out in the EU summit. In terms of what we're looking for in major data wise, local data, we have the RBNZ. And so RBNZ is of importance just for the Aussie Kiwi cross, and just generally whether we're going to see a more delayed timeline from New Zealand than we are seeing from Australia. So RBA versus RBNZ differences are very small at the moment, but they may increase. Then you may see a little bit of movement from the US GDP numbers, which is the final GDP numbers before we do start to get Q2 coming through. And once we get Q2 coming through, we see if it, you do see those huge numbers that Trump was talking about in his tweets. But other than that, that's the major two pieces of data that you're going to see this week. Nothing else too much apart from some Fed speak and a little bit of central banker speak. But this is the last week of the year. Sorry, last week of the month, so it is always the least data-wise before we get next week's huge deluge of data. If you want to have a chat about these recent Trump statements, how to trade headlines in general going forward as well, come through to the dealers on the contact details below. If you're not a member of the easyMarkets dealing room, you can sign up with the link below and get a dealer like myself assigned to assist you.